Since early last year, 2020, up to this present time, if we could describe the world or put it in a painting, it has found itself in a dark landscape. You know the reason, I know the reason. The coronavirus. There have been 3 million plus and counting who have died. The worst part of it, loved ones of those who have died were deprived of the last time to see, touch, take care even of their loved ones who have gone ahead of us. Heartbreaking indeed. Cases are still rising. Honestly, this is the first time in my life as a priest that I have gotten so many requests for prayers. Repose of the soul of so-and-so, healing of a loved one, of their loved ones, who are now in hospitals at home, infected by the virus. People have lost their jobs. Businesses have closed down and still closing down. People in despair, seemingly hopeless, frustrated, in fear. There's so much doubt. What will happen next time? People are hungry. Really dark picture for all of us. But wait, there are times that there's light that shines in the midst of all this dark scenery. Well, one thing, towards the end of last year, the vaccine has been developed, or vaccines of different kinds have been developed, which is a good news, of course, for everybody. People have still to be vaccinated. Yes, we know that. Gave us hope. At least there's something that could help us, prevent us from being infected. Vaccines, medicines, there's still under test and trials. Recently, well, to be exact, 2 weeks ago, April 14, light in the Philippines, community pantries, well started by this courageous, kind-hearted lady, Ana Patricia Non, in Maginhawa, not so far from us here. For all the suspicions, red tagging, whatever negative things that people have said of it, it has flourished, and not only that, it has caused the sprouting of many community pantries all over the Philippines, even in Timor-Leste. Hold that for a moment in our minds. Let's set it as a background of the words of our Lord in today's gospel. I came as light, so that everyone who believes in me might not remain in darkness. Light, the vaccine, a light, community pantries. Jesus coming into the world as light, in a world that was full of darkness in his time, so much idolatry, idols and gods and goddesses, sins, people forgetting God. He came into that world. And you know, the church has never forgotten to really emphasize this message to us by the very liturgy that we have. How beautiful are our Catholic liturgies. What do I mean? We look into the Easter Vigil liturgy. That was less than a month ago, April 3 to be exact, Holy Saturday evening, when that Paschal candle was first lighted, brought into this very chapel, in the many chapels and churches all over the world. And the priest singing, Christ is light, si Cristo ay liwanag, or in similar words. Coming into this dark place, with only the Paschal candle being lighted, and on the third time, the celebrant sings, Christ is light, He has conquered darkness. But wait, after that third singing, a server gets light from the Easter candle, Paschal candle, passes it on to people who are participating. The symbol of such is so strong that we should get that and understand what it is. Christ, the light, has come into the world to beat darkness, the darkness of death and sin. But He wants us to be light and lights ourselves. That's why that light is passed on to each and every one of us. Isn't that a very strong symbol or even message? That in the midst of darkness is hope, the good news of love, the good news of salvation, the good news of life. And we are to spread the same good news because we share in the light of Christ. I've mentioned that our Catholic liturgies are very excellent and very good. We see the same symbolism, same message being imparted to us every time there's a little boy or girl, an infant being baptized. Same thing. As soon as the priest pours the water into the head of the little child and the oil into his head also, imposed, the chrism, priest lights from the Paschal candle, little light, lighting the lives of the ninongs and the ninangs, of the parents of the child. Now standing for that little child, that this child is to be a light in the world. My dear brothers and sisters, such lights should never be extinguished. In the midst of this darkness, our Lord has given us so much hope. So much hope. We will not allow fear, despair, hopelessness to overcome us. Because there is Jesus, the light who has come to conquer this darkness. Let us find strength in those words of the Lord in today's gospel. I could not help but share this little story, just somehow end my sharing now. About some days back, in a community pantry in Kawit, Cavite, simple taho vendor, Mang Nelson, passed by the community pantry. The organizers called him to buy taho. It was morning. You know taho, for those who don't know that, foreigners maybe, hopefully joining this mass. That comes from soybean curd, something like that. Okay. Popular breakfast menu. for many Filipinos. So, serve them. But I noticed that Mang Nelson kept on putting into these little plastic glasses the taho. So they said, Mang Nelson, tama na po. Hindi po. Baka marami pang gusto. Huwag niyo na pong bayaran. Don't pay for this. Don't pay for this. Somebody was so touched with it that he took pictures. He asked the name of that simple taho vendor. Imagine, Mang Nelson, maybe a big chunk of what he should have earned that day was lost. But no, we thought of others who might be hungry. He did his little share. At that moment, he became a light. To you, Mang Nelson, baka po kayo ay naglalako na naman ngayon sa initan ng araw. Salamat po. Naging tunay kayong liwanag. Just sharing to you one example that nobody is really poor that he or she cannot share anything that can be shared to people who are hungry. Mang Nelson is an example of one who has kept his light burning. Let us be like him. And countless people are now in community pantries, helping, donating. You might be one of them. Seeing to it that people at least are alleviated in their hunger, in their needs. As I was saying, we should never lose hope. Jesus himself has said, he is the light, light of the world. We are little lights in the world. We will never allow such lights to be extinguished.